Right, I'm just going to do a quick video talking about ammo types in game. This is strictly for NC. I mean, I don't know the other ammo types that TR and VS have out of the soft point and high velocity ammunition. So I'm going to talk a bit about soft point and high velocity because people always ask me about that or have done in the past. So if you go to, say, a carbine, for example, you will see that there is soft point ammunition that you can add. Some guns will allow you to equip both. So let me just, like the NS11, you've got soft point and high velocity. So just to talk about these, so soft point is for close quarters and high velocity ammunition is for long range. You just think of it like that. Reading it, when I used to read it, I used to get confused. When I first started, I was like, I don't understand. Is it what, you know, should I be picking this? So I'd pick high velocity one week, soft point the next, and I'd just kind of rotate and think, I don't even know what they do. Like, what is the point in this? Because they don't really explain it when you join the game. They don't really explain soft point or high velocity. So the way I remembered it was high velocity for long range and soft point for close to medium range. So let's just talk about what they are real quick. So soft point ammunition increases the weapon's maximum damage range. So if a gun has, so let's just have a look at this gun real quick. Let me go to a gun like the Tanto, for example. Let me click it. I just want to see the weapon stats. Here we go. So you got the NS11 CP. It does 143 damage at 10 meters. Now, if you add 5 onto that, so that would be 15 meters. You get 143 damage. Now, let me just click on it. So as you can see, it increases the maximum damage range by 5 meters, but it reduces the projectile velocity by 10%. So it's good really for close quarters. Obviously at long range you shouldn't really be engaging with soft point. You should just be running for cover really at longish range and trying to get closer. That's how I see it anyway. High velocity, now let's talk about high velocity. So high velocity ammunition increases the weapon's projectile velocity. So that means the bullets projectile 10% faster. So it's not shooting the gun 10% faster. It's when you shot the gun, the bullet in the air is traveling to its target 10% faster. And the maximum damage range by 20 meters. Minimum damage range by 20 meters. So it increases the minimum damage range. So the minimum would be 143, but reduces the weapon's maximum damage range. So yeah, you want to be running this at high velocity. You want to be running high velocity. You want to be running it for long range. Now, on Ceres server specifically, there isn't that many long range engagements. If you're using a gun like this, the 11 CP, you shouldn't really be engaging people across the map, kind of thing. Well, not across the map, but if you're at a base fighting, you shouldn't really be trying to hit headshots from across the base. You should be trying to get really close, but 90% of the time it's soft point ammunition you would run. If the option comes that you have two ammo types to choose from, always try and pick soft point really. High velocity isn't rubbish, but you know you're not going to be in that many long range engagements. So high velocity ammunition increases the weapon's projectile velocity by 10% and minimum damage range by 20 meters, but reduces the weapon's maximum damage range by 2 meters. But reduces the weapon. Yeah, so it's in the name really. So as you could tell, you would pick this for longest range. Now I'm just going to go and look at some other guns. So you've got stuff like if I go into LMG, like Anchor for example, this has soft point ammunition, so you would always run it. You wouldn't take it off. You kind of want to keep it on all the time. Now some weapons like the Razor GD23, that has high velocity. Now you want to take that off. You don't really want to be running it. If you run a suppressor, so let me just give you an example here. So if you're using an LMG, for example, the gore saw, let me just go. So N6 gore saw, here we go, found it. So now as you can see with the gore saw, I'm running an engineer with the gore saw, and he uses a suppressor, he uses laser sight, and he uses high velocity ammunition. Now this is because you're probably thinking, well, laser sight for close quarters, but he's using high velocity ammunition. Well, this is because I run a suppressor. Now if you look at the suppressor, the weapon's muzzle flash and noise generation is reduced, and the player no longer appears on the minimap when firing. In exchange, the weapon's damage falls off by 20 meters sooner. So damage falls off 20, and the bullet velocity is reduced by 15%. So it's reduced by 15%, but when you use high velocity increases the weapon's projectile velocity by 10%. So really, you're only losing about 5%, I think. So it's reduced by 15%, but this projectile velocity gives you 10%. So you're only losing about 5%, and minimum damage range by 20 meters, but reduces the weapon's maximum damage range. So you get the maximum damage range by 2 meters, which is good. So you really want to be running high velocity when you're running the suppressor. That's what I got told by a guy on PC, and I've always kind of stuck to that. Now this build I found on a YouTube channel. I can't remember the YouTube channel name. Aphex or something, is it? I can't remember the guy's name, but he had the golden anchor, and he did a YouTube video talking about heavies. It's kind of like a heavy guide on what he uses. Personally, I don't always run a gore saw when I'm playing heavy. I tend to run so let me just show you a heavy. So there you go, I've got the promise, but generally I tend to run the anchor. The anchor's really strong, probably one of the strongest LMGs in the game. I'd say it's up there. If you can aim, you just need to aim for the head or try to hip fire for the head. So yeah, now I'm just going to talk about other ammo types real quick. With light assault, for example, let me just give you an example. You kind of want to be running soft point all the time, because you're close up, you're shooting them close up, you're not going to be at long range engaging people. Your job is to climb on the roof, shoot them from the roof, you know, jump down a balcony, shoot from the balcony, wherever, you know, get yourself a vantage point. Now I'm just going to talk about other ammo types. So combat medic, for example, if you go into assault rifles and you come across the Vanquisher. Now the Vanquisher has disruptor ammunition and saber ammunition. So what these do, so disruptor ammunition is good against heavy assaults. It will strip 75% shield health and 6% maximum ability energy from enemies, and will deal high damage to small deployables, but reduces your bullet damage to 125% at all ranges. Now you shouldn't be running this all the time. You should be running it against heavy assaults. It's good against heavy assaults because it strips their shield and their 6%. So when you have an overshield on a heavy, it has 6% gone from the overshield because it takes it out. Now saber ammunition is good for corridors. Say you're in a corridor fighting and it's from one end to the other and the enemy's at the end and they're all coming down. You shoot one guy and it will go through and hit somebody else. It reduces the rate of fire by 10%, but that's not a big difference. Most of the time I don't really run saber ammunition. I just tend to not run anything. I tend to run disruptor ammunition normally because I picked this gun mainly to go against heavies. Now normally I don't go that hard against heavies because I'm not, like, I've come to the point now where I've unlocked everything in game. So I just kind of use the gore saw and just go around shooting people with that, really. But most of the time, if I really wanted to kill heavies, this is a good gun to kill them with, disrupt ammunition. And there's a lot of heavy assaults on ceres even. So you come across tons of heavies, so it's a good gun to use against heavies. Stuff like the promise. Now let me just go into that real quick. So go to heavy assault. So as you can see, the Promise, now the Promise has some ammunition types like SPRW ammunition or Smart Feeder. Now increases projectile velocity by 25%. Now when I researched this, it's not that good. Now projectile velocity means that when you fire the gun, the bullet in the gun is going to travel 25% faster to its target. So it means that you don't have to lead your target. You can aim for the head and it will basically go and hit the head 25% faster. So you don't have to lead. Now you're probably thinking, great, this is good. Now it's not really, because it means that you only have 75 rounds in the Promise, and most people pick the Promise more as a kind of keep firing type weapon. So with this weapon in particular, so if you have this SPRW ammunition, you only get 75 rounds in the chamber. Now to make use of this weapon, you have to hold down the trigger like this and keep firing. Now with that said, you can't keep firing if you don't have enough rounds. You're going to run out of rounds quicker than you can imagine, really. So having a Smart Feeder is really useful. So you could just 150 rounds, you could just hold down the trigger. This gun has better accuracy when you hold down the trigger. Okay, it's not a fire and, you know, burst fire gun. Something like the Gorsaw is a burst fire gun. So Gorsaw S, burst fire. So like this, you would go like this: fire 1 or 2, fire 1 or 2, fire 1 or 2. So you fire 1, 2, and then maybe a third, then you stop. So the Promise does better when you hold down the trigger. So having 150 rounds is pretty good. Now there's other things that can has SPR ammo. I'm trying to think. SMGs, what is it? Gladius. So the Gladius has SPRW ammunition. So you've got soft point or SPRW. Now it increases the projectile velocity but reduces the magazine size by 4. This isn't useful. You would never really run it. It doesn't really matter about the 25%. You really want to be running soft point ammunition, because if you're running an SMG in general, you're going to be close quarters, kind of 1v1 especially on ceres at the moment, because the server's not that busy. So generally you would run something like advanced laser sight and soft point ammunition, and you would basically go around and you would try and hip fire and shoot people in the head, stuff like that. You would really go into that and try and do that, as opposed to shooting at longest range and having a 25% extra, you know, bullet velocity. It doesn't really matter. I think I've covered all the kind of ammo types. I might have missed a few, but the general ones you want to look out for is soft point ammunition and high velocity. So high velocity ammunition, you want to be running that when you're longest range, and soft point ammunition when you're close range. People tend to pick soft point ammunition most, if not all, the time. This is because a lot of engagements that you come across on ceres are quite close. You're not shooting people across the map. Normally, because the numbers are quite low, you are the guy that goes to the point. There's no team that goes to the point, because there isn't any other team. There's just what we have. There might be 50 players on. You need everybody to go to the point, like, if you're going to take it, or you need everybody to go to the base. So, you know, you can't sit in the back shooting people, because if you're working in a team, you're going to need soft point to get in there and get the job done. It's just how it is. On busier servers, like maybe Genuine or maybe PC, people probably use high velocity more. But soft point is on ceres is like the go-to. So yeah. So I hope this answers any questions that you guys have had. I know you guys haven't asked me personally, but I seen a post on Reddit today, and a guy messaged me the other day and said I was confused about soft point. I didn't know what to use. So yeah, there you go. So anyway, I'll leave it there, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Any questions, pop them in the comments, guys. And yeah, I'll see you soon.